Sergeant, be safe in the New Year's resolutions.
Officer Stella Stiletto, who is also the undercover Sapphire Steel, has decided to work out more often this year.
Well, Major Payne is gonna not get stressed out as much this year and start taking more vacations. Inspector Chase Clarity wants to learn as much as possible this year, so he's decided he's gonna read more books. You should too. SWAT Officer Clay Moore decided he's going to work on his patience a little more and be able to explain things a little bit more clearer this year. We'll see.
Captain Chaos and his Canine Kraken have decided that they are going to start their own canine training business this year.
Community Engagement Sergeant Be Safe has decided he's going to learn more safety tips so he can educate the community more efficiently and effectively. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned.
This year, Maya's going to learn chemistry.
Hello, my name is Maya. I could tell this is going to be my new favorite class.
Ooh, and these guys are going to stay out of trouble.
You can't stop me. I know my rights.
You want to see me outside? I'm called again.
Starting a new year with a bang, we are excited to add a new officer to the gang. Not only is she a college graduate, but she's also a military veteran. She was trained to specialize in reconnaissance and is also a drone pilot. Officer Stiletto, the former IG model, and also a makeup artist. With these skills, she will be successful as undercover officer Sapphire Steel. Through these adventures with Sergeant Be Safe, let's watch her bring justice and not get caught by Robbie Blind and his menacing crew. Speaking of his crew, look, she fits right in. When it comes time to reveal the image that she has concealed, she joins the team, making it nothing but a dream. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch her journey as Officer Stiletto works undercover as her alter ego, Sapphire Steel.
And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way. The new adventures of Sergeant Be Safe. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another weekly episode of the podcast Black and Blue. I am happy to see you. I am your coach, Coach Clee. I'm your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. And I'm here to present to you wonderful podcast that we've been going almost 5 years strong, where we have a guest who's either a first responder or a law enforcement officer, and we talk about their trainings, their experiences, and their publications. It doesn't matter if they're rookie, season, or retiree. When they come on here, they drop gems and drop dimes, and we enjoy having them here. Today's show is going to be a little different. The setup is going to be a little different. The beginning is going to be live. The ending is going to be live, but I had to record the interview, and of course, technical difficulty hits, so I'm waiting for it to re-download, so we'll have it here momentarily. It should only take a few more minutes for it to re-download, and we're going to have the recording here. It's a guy who some of you may know, others of you may not. I've been trying to get him on the show. Went back when we did the lab. I tried to get him on the show. I tried to get him on the show at the beginning stages of Black and Blue. And there's been a lot of reasonable reasons of why he couldn't come on, but we finally got the link up a few weeks ago. We got to have lunch, which was like a 4-hour lunch. We got to watch college football in the middle of it, eat some brisket, eat some pulled pork and things like that in the middle of that, have a wonderful conversation, and it gives like 4 hours long. It was great. And then he decided to come on the show. This guy is nationally known. He's done tremendous things. I don't want to get into it just yet because I'm going to take away from the interview, but let you guys tell me what you think after you watch the interview, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But this is Black and Blue. This is the podcast that streams just for you, where we go live weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When we go live with the first responder or law enforcement officer to talk about their trainings, experiences, and their publications. We're streaming on, I think, let me see now, 7 different platforms. We're on 5 on Facebook, 2 on, we're on 4 on Facebook, 2 on YouTube, and 1 on LinkedIn. So I see a few comments are coming in. Make sure you put your name and where you're from in the comment section. I'll give you the shout out during the live portion while I'm here. If not, give me some hearts, give me some likes. I see Richard Oakley's on here, my guy. Thank you for tuning in from Northern Virginia. I appreciate it. You're long and true, steady, and I can't wait to have you on the show. It's going to be great. Shayla's on here. Happy Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Absolutely. Happy Law Enforcement Appreciation Day to any law enforcement officer out there or watching the replay. We all appreciate you guys. All right. But make sure you get those likes out there, get those shares out there. We're going to share this information. I told you what platforms we're on. We're also going to be uploaded onto Spotify. When we're on Spotify, that'll be somewhat after the show. And not only just Spotify, but this portion of it is presented, the sponsorship, twisting my words, sponsored by One Way Publishing. One Way Publishing is a publishing company that sponsors this platform, this podcast, Black and Blue. It also sponsors this book publishing company. Their motto is they could turn a mere thought into a book that's bought. So if you ever decided that you wanted to write your own book, whether it was fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, like Obi's done, our upcoming guest, then One Way Publishing is the publishing company that you want to reach out to. They can make that thing happen. A mere thought into a book that's bought. Tremendous things out there. All right. They also sponsor the Sergeant Be Safe. You got to see him at the beginning of this podcast during the intro. You'll see him throughout this podcast as well. The cartoon crime fighting cop, who's also tearing up TikTok right now. So if you haven't already checked his page out, make sure you check that page out. He's also got his own YouTube channel as well. Make sure you guys tag, like, share, and subscribe to that too as well. Sergeant Be Safe is a cartoon crime fighting cop, and he's got multiple skits, some funny, some serious, on there that provide safety tips for old and young. All right. We also have the platform. We got One Way Publishing podcast and the book publishing company. That's One Way Publishing itself. You'll see it being scrolled below. I got the wrong banner going on, but we're going to get that up there as well. Again, like I said, our special guest is no stranger to the platform because he has been paying attention to the platform. He just hasn't been on here, and we're a few seconds away from it totally being up here. So I got to get as much information out here as I can. This is the podcast where I'm your host, if I didn't already say so. I'm Ecclesiastics, as you saw before. So get your crimes code ready and open up to the book Ecclesiastics 302. I'm the coldest code switching detective. I am Clee, CLEE, continuing law enforcement edutainment, because we educate and we entertain while we're on here. We've had tremendous guests. Last week's guest, we had Chief Randall Moody on here, and he's doing wonderful things with emotional intelligence, and he had covered that, and it's been a tremendous ride learning about him. He transitioned to chief not too long ago, and he took over a department. He's doing really, really well. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Nina Sandra, happy Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Thank you. We appreciate that. All law enforcement officers, yes, this is your appreciation day. Make sure you guys enjoy the day, enjoy these moments coming up. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. We do appreciate it. We got a special guest. Let me see where we're at. We're download here. Our special guest, it's taking, of course, it's going to take a few more minutes than I thought, but we're still going to keep the train moving. We're going to keep the train rolling. I think I saw all the comments there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, this is the podcast Black and Blue. This is where we have special guests. It's going to be a recorded show. The recorded show, the interview was recorded because this gentleman doesn't sit still too long. He's actually on a plane right now going toward a certain destination to take care of some more business. He started out, he's been an entrepreneur. Not only that, then he transitioned and put his application out to multiple different departments. Once he got his accepted into the Baltimore City Police Department, he did tremendous things there. He worked his way up through the ranks. He became IA. He became a family man. He's a community man. He's done numerous things that we can't, a lot of things we can't talk about and won't talk about, but he's done tremendous things in this field. He's also learned how to open his own business in the process of being a law enforcement officer. And he tells the journey on how he got his own food truck. He kind of pondered around and waited on that. He gets his own truck and then starts going to events and starts cooking, making him and his partners. They cook the burritos that they're showing up at Capone's Riverfront's Jazz Fest, and they're sold out. They're getting buku to the point where he's doing this full time. So then now he's a full-time food truck operator, transitioning out of law enforcement into the food truck business and transition from the food truck to the restaurant business, where when he was into the restaurants, he actually had a walk-in restaurant. The food was delicious. I explained how many days he saved me and my son on days when it was just me and him and we didn't have anything to eat because I didn't feel like going to the store or anything. We went straight to him and he would hook us up with a delicious burrito until they got bought out. Believe it or not, they got bought out and it turned into a franchise, and he thought he'd sit back on his laurels and rest. And, the bug in him did not stop. So then he became an author, which a couple of the books are behind me. He's got a lot of books out there. They're available on Amazon. He'll discuss that in the interview as well. Then he opens up his other business, which is called Nakobe Foods. And that took off like a wildfire as well. That business itself is in over 3,000 major chain stores. Some of you may have heard of them, and it's continuing to grow. So that not only is he a businessman, entrepreneur, he's a visionary. He sees what he wants to leave behind. He sees how he wants to leave the community and his presence behind, and create generational wealth for not himself, but just everyone that's attached to him. And he doesn't find it robbery to continue on moving through the paces. So therefore, we got, ladies and gentlemen, Obi Linton. Again, this is going to be a recording. I think there's going to be music on this recording too. So bear with me and stand by. We're going to get this up here. I'm excited to have him here. But of course, if most of you haven't seen him before, here's just a few clips of who he is and what he's done. And that is him, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let me see where we're at with this. We about 4% left. 4% left of this download. Again, I explained I had to re-download what was going on. It did double, so it would say everything twice and repeat itself. And I don't know why it lasted that long. And I just caught it, so therefore I had to re-engage it and re-upload it. So hopefully we'll have that here in a few minutes. But until then, any special guests out there that we've had on the show, anyone on here right now that's been on the show? We had a few. We finished the year out with Colin Whittington. He provided a few free resumes out there. It was a lot of fun to have him on the show because he talked about how transitioning out in law enforcement, your skills are useful in the private sector. And if you haven't checked that show out, make sure you guys check that show out as well. We got a future upcoming guest, Richard Oakley. He's already made a comment in the comment section. He's going to be on the show up soon. I can't wait to have him on here. I know he's got a tremendous story, a daring story. I know he said it's been a traumatizing for him and a while to get over. And I don't want to give too much away, but when he comes on here, he's going to provide his side of the story on different things that has happened to him. We had Raymond Hicks on here. If you haven't seen the clips on YouTube or on TikTok, Raymond Hicks was the wrongfully accused cop who in Broward County who went to jail, been in prison for a long time, where his home was foreclosed on, vehicles were repossessed, kids were put in through the system, all on account of because he was trying to do the right thing. And I know he's made national waves. I'm happy that I was able to get him on the show. I know he's been on other podcasts, other major podcasts that have been around for a while. If you don't know his story is tremendous. It's a story of triumph. It's a story of not being true to who he is and not selling out. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, we've been featuring clips on LinkedIn. We've been featuring clips on TikTok and YouTube as well. So therefore, let me see what we got going on here. I'm sorry to have to keep doing this to you. All right, there we go. Let me see if I can get this up. All right, and as soon as it's finished downloading, I will have the clip up here and ready for you. So I'm sorry, apologize for the delay. In the meantime, I will bring you Sergeant Be Safe. All right, stand by.
Missing person, attention, beautiful model. Social media beauty queen is gone but not forgotten. Attention, missing person. All cars, alert, be on the lookout for. Attention.
Enter and see Captain Chaos is on his phone, and SWAT Officer Clay Moore is eating his lunch. The new recruit, Officer Stella Stiletto, immediately jumps up and says,
Captain, I specialize in missing persons. I'll lead the case.
And Captain Chaos says, yeah, whatever, go ahead. Clay Moore chimes in, what if she's hiding under the filter? Then we see Officer Stella Stiletto transform into her undercover role, Sapphire Steel.
I know filters, makeup. I used to be a model, so I know how to find one.
A missing persons report is something the whole department takes seriously. Inspector Chase Clarity is looking high and low. Sergeant Be Safe is looking closely on the ground. Captain Chaos and Kraken are searching for her scent, while SWAT Officer Clay Moore is turning up every fine detail. Suddenly, treacherous Tony is spotted in a suspicious van.
There he goes. Let's chase. This is more thrilling than a reality show.
Well, even though it's not related, treacherous Tony gets arrested for committing another crime. Escorting him is Inspector Chase Clarity and SWAT Officer Clay Moore.
I'm sick of going to jail.
Attention, model not missing. Model located at her home safely with no makeup and no social media filters on.
Looks like she was hiding from reality.
Looks like she didn't need a filter after all.
Case closed.
Sometimes the truth is harder to look at. These social media filters are so good that we're out here looking for a beauty queen, when in fact, the real person is the ugly duckling. And that's your tip of the day. It's coming your way. And that is the beauty queen with Sergeant Be Safe. Stand by, still waiting for it to, okay, download it from the one site. I'm waiting for it to upload onto here so I can go ahead and get it on the StreamYard and show it to you. So hopefully it's just a couple seconds away, a few minutes. But in the meantime, some upcoming plans. Do plan on having some more educational trainings, more educational skits. Not only that, talking about different things as far as being a first responder and being a law enforcement officer, how important communication is, how important emotional intelligence, being a peer, how important of getting your things that are bothering you out, how important talking about family structure, how important talking about if you're going through a separation, if you're going through a divorce and custody and things like that, things that affect us 100%. Looking to bring those in the pipeline as far as trainings, looking to have that done as far as other books to be published. many different things. I don't want to give too many things away. We're working on a lot of projects at the same time. Sergeant Be Safe, looking to interview him, believe it or not, working on a way to actually have Coach Clee and Sergeant Be Safe be interviewed at the same possible time, talking about wonderful things. To see Nina, I posted it up there, says Sergeant Be Safe is awesome. I appreciate that. I know he does too. And we got a wonderful other things going on for 2025. 2025 is going to be live, and I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate all of you that are on here. I know we got some college football games going on, and those of you that don't find it robbery, Gregory Foster's on here. Good day to you also, sir. I apologize for the delay in this one. Let me see where we're at. Okay, we're not too far behind, still about halfway to be downloaded on this site. And again, this is going to be a recorded interview with Obi Linton. Having him on here on the show, it was a lot of fun. It was something that we've been trying to do for many years. We finally were able to get it done. He's traveling right now. So to get him on here and to tell his story and to tell his success story, and how he made the impossible happen was tremendous. I can't wait to get him on here. He wasn't able to do it live, so therefore we had to do it recorded. And when we recorded it, it doubled in loop, so it was doing an echo. And when it was echoing, I couldn't put that version up here, so I had to re-download it and then upload it onto here. And that's what the holdup is. We're waiting on the process of the upload for the interview to be posted on here. As Shayla said, when is the Sergeant Be Safe children's book coming out? Hopefully this year as well. We got digital versions on Amazon for Sergeant Be Safe. Hopefully we're going to be doing some school projects, school participations with actual Sergeant Be Safe showing up. We have a couple collabs with Sergeant Be Safe planned with Derek Dotson. We spoke about it. Bookham Bridges, we talked about a couple projects that we're looking forward to doing. And right now it's still in the brainstorming stages. Nothing has been finalized, but Sergeant Be Safe, I believe, is going to be making a huge and tremendous impact in 2025. So I hope everyone's ready. That his YouTube channel grew in numbers in the past month, I would say. By the number, it still hasn't reached 100. I think it's in the 60s, but before that, there was about 35 subs on YouTube. Now it's in the 60s. It has well over 100 cartoon skits, and it shows the old version. It shows the shorts. It has a new animation. I'm loving the new animation of the Sergeant Be Safe. Yep. College game. We are Penn State's playing. Penn State's playing Notre Dame as of right now. Let me check this download, see how far we are. Not too far behind. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the holdup. Thank you guys for bearing with me. This is another interview that I couldn't wait to get out here, and I hope it's going to be here sooner than later, because I don't want to just be on here rambling and not giving you something of value. I know I appreciate your time. I appreciate your moments, and I don't want to use it wastefully, because this is an important platform. This is an important interview, and it took a while to get him here. A couple things with the studio here in the meantime while we're waiting. Actually, I broke something trying to set this up, and I'm upset about it. The coins that I have here, sometimes they weren't shown in the background. Let me get this out the way. Because I'm usually sitting in front of the chair, but coming in here, I actually knocked it over and all the coins fell. And not only did all the coins fall, but the plaque that was with it fell as well. And when it fell, it broke. And this is, I don't know, is it clear? Yep, Black and Blue, Clee Tillman, the coldest podcast in the world. Yep, it is now 2 pieces. And the coins are over there on my other desk right now. I'm upset about that, but hopefully, I've had this for a while, since almost the inception of the show. We'll see if we can get another one, a little one more sturdy, a little better. But that did happen right before the show. Yeah, no worries. I know. It's upsetting. The coins are right here. We'll get them on another stand. But the background is, since most of you know that since December, we've been in a different location. So the background is still under construction, and hopefully we will have all that up momentarily as well, so we can get it done I'm not liking how the background's looking right now. We got the shelving here. I got some ideas. I don't want to give too much away. It'll look a lot better. Lighting should be a lot better. I'm right beside another window. And here in the state of Pennsylvania, it is very cold and very windy. So therefore I can hear all the elements. Sorry. I hope I can get another one too. Thank you. I was disappointed. I heard it crash and I thought it was the coins that splattered all over the floor, which they did, but I didn't know the glass actually shattered into two pieces. And it is what it is. Things happen, but yeah, the background looks cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. It does. We're looking to enhance it. Looking to get better equipment. Another thing that we're looking to do, just got one of those new cameras. Those not the GoPro ones, but the handheld ones. Just got that in yesterday, actually. One of my goals is I'm going to start doing a little action ride-alongs with different various departments and showing how officers interact, showing them on the scene. Going to be putting that on the show as well. That's kind of in the brainstorming stages of the show, so we're looking forward to bringing that live to you as well. And since working this job, I've got over 20 years of experience working this job. It'll be interesting to actually have someone who's worked the business being alongside of those who are actually doing the job right now. So it's a different kind of feeling, a different kind of vibe, if you could say. All right, let me see. I think we have this ready. Looks like it's up and ready. Let me see if I can find it here. Give me 1 second and we will bring him on the stage. Oh,
All right.
Why am I frozen? There we go. I had to wait for it to catch up. All right. All this will be got all that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for joining us. This is our first recorded show. I got special guests. I've been waiting to get him in here for many, many years, for a long time. I'm excited to have him, and I know you guys are too. We got Obi Linton. Obi, how you doing today?
Brother, it's good to be on the show, man. Long time coming.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on here. It's my pleasure to have you on here. I know we've talked many times off the record about many different things, and I mean, I'm impressed to have you. I'm impressed on the things that you have done and the things that you aspire to do. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Obi. 40. How old am I? 45, 46 years old. One of those. I'm good old, brother. Obviously, former law enforcement, current entrepreneur. Been an entrepreneur my whole life, even while in law enforcement. But not till 2008, really decided to go hard and really embrace the idea of law enforcement. So, born in Jersey, okay, raised by Baltimoreans and and Pennsylvanians and all types of. So I'm a man without a home, really. So I travel all over from Philly to Baltimore but I'm from Jersey originally. We out here in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg now.
Gotcha. Thank you. So the first question I ask everybody who comes on the show, what gave you the burning desire to actually want to get into law enforcement or actually make a difference and humanize the badge and be a public servant?
Well, public service has always been something I've been attracted to. As far as law enforcement in particular, it was more just an opportunity than something I was gearing for. I was looking into anything from law enforcement to military to firefighter, anything in my younger years. So I think law enforcement allowed me to be more responsive, dealing with the community, talking to people, because I love people, so dealing with people and things like that. So that was one of the things I wanted to do.
Gotcha. And I remember from talking a few weeks ago when we got to meet up, you put your app out that you was like north, east, south, and west. And whichever one hit me up first is the one I'm going with. And so you ended up, can we talk about the department that you ended up in?
For sure.
So what made you decide to actually go to Baltimore City and become a cop there?
Oh, it's a funny story. So I was in Chicago when I put my applications out, as you know, a young man figuring it out. I put my applications out to about 10 agencies, and this is when we had to fill them out by hand. So, I
remember those days.
So I had to fill out the 2002, I think it was. I filled out 10 applications, NYPD, LAPD, pretty much all the major municipalities. I did know I wanted to do that, including Chicago. And I'll be honest, Baltimore called me first. I already been to Baltimore a few times prior to that. So I really didn't know anything about the city itself or just the people. or anything. The only thing I knew really was the Baltimore Colts from back in the day, you know. So that's pretty much it. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was.
So they called me and they treated me well, man. They treated me real good during the process. And once I got that, it was kind of just game on from there.
Got you. And what you told me I found interesting is when you went through the process, your process was like one full weekend long. You can get it out and move on so they could keep filtering people in. And my process was, I think, like 2 weeks long. They got everything done. I like that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Baltimore got something good when it comes to the 3-day process. They still do it today, from what I know. Basically, if you were an out-of-state person, generally it's geared toward us. At the time, I was a New Jerseyan. So basically, you come down on a Friday, I believe it was, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you come down on a Friday, you do your written and your PT test. And then Saturday, you're already in the psychological and the physical, and you're pretty much getting into the process. By Sunday, you're getting the badge almost, you know. So it made you feel good because, you know, out-of-state person coming into a state they're unfamiliar with, you're not really sure what's going to happen, and they have this process to basically just kind of move you through. And kind of, they were ahead of the game. And a lot of the people that I knew from out of state, from New York, New Jersey, from wherever, that was one of the things that said, you know, let's just go, let's get it, lock it in. And after that, I mean, by the end of the weekend, I had a conditional offer of employment, and I was like, what just happened?
So you went from like regular person to law enforcement officer and like that.
Yeah, I went from regular Joe to I got to watch everything I do now. In a matter.
And while I can throw this plug in, go Ravens. You know, by the time this is aired, hopefully we have a favorable outcome. But we can talk about that later.
Hey, you know me, I got mad love for the Ravens. I worked in Baltimore for mad years. I worked in the stadium for multiple years. I know a lot of those older guys, Suggs and all those guys from where I used to work there. I love Baltimore people, so everybody know. I always talk about that. And people say, "Why do you say that all the time?" I just love Baltimore people for some reason. So I love the Ravens, though. So there you go.
There we go. So then we were talking again, and coming up through Baltimore, being a boot or a rookie or whatever words you want, coming out of the academy, or new hire, fresh on the street, you got your eyes open real big. Can you tell us about some of your experiences when you first hit the streets and like, wow, this is what I got into?
Yeah, well, real quick, like even the introduction to Baltimore was interesting. Coming into the process of trying to get hired, so a few of the attempted hirees, we took a ride around Baltimore for the first time. I'm like, okay, this is I come from something like that, but it was a little different, a little more robust and in depth. It was an in-depth community, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. All I thought it was a Harvard and Fellows Point. Like I didn't know nothing about all this. So we had to do some research on that. But obviously, we didn't have the internet like that. So we had to go on the streets and figure it out. But the one thing, the experience was one of my favorite experiences, just actually having a uniform on and being able to be responsible for getting the responsibility to go out there and become a police officer and actually do the job. You know, I remember showing up to my first call. It was a cutting. I think we talked about this, and I was like, what am I doing? I just went through a year of training, but what am I doing? I have no idea what to do. Like, where's my ticket? Do I need a ticket book for this cutting? Like, I don't know what to do. So, you know, we had great trainers in Baltimore. That was one of the best experiences too. Great trainers, great supervisors and everything. So they get you prepared. You don't really have much of a choice. You get prepared quick.
Yeah, you're right in the meat of it. I know coming out of the academy, at least for me, it feels like you can take on the whole world. And then when you actually put the uniform on, I'm like, man, it's the real deal now. You know, we had that when I started, we had the clip-on tie with the button piece that attached to the button shirt, and your vest was under your shirt before we wore the exterior carry. And I remember it fitted so good, and I was like, man, look good. And then you actually get that call. And then when the real call comes in, I'm like, whoa, like this is for real. Like it's me now. It's me. They depending on me. And then you show up and you're like, all right, you got to remember the stance. Remember, yes, sir, no, sir. Do all the stuff. I'm like, and they say, don't forget the stuff you learned in the academy. But some of the stuff, all due respect to the instructors, some of the stuff isn't applicable to like actual, like you're trying to merge real life and merge what you learned in the academy. And I remember the interview stance, they told us to stand just like this, because but like no one talks like this.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Nobody talks like that.
And so I'm going my first call, and I'm like, yes, sir, no, sir. And I'm like, if they strike me, I'm ready. And it was just a conversation. And they said, officer, are you nervous? I'm like, no, I'm not nervous. They said, well, why do you keep doing this stuff? Like, you're shaking hands. I'm like, and that's how we officers talk. You got to understand. Man, I was nervous. I failed. It was a regular call, and I'm standing there looking like an idiot because I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I remember, man. The funny thing is, when I first started, everybody say the same thing, especially in Baltimore. It was like, I think at the time it was about 3,500 of us. First thing somebody says, forget everything you learned in the academy.
Yeah.
But I was already told it was going to say that. So, and that's an assessment that you always have in your mind. Forget everything you learned in the academy, but there is a very comfortable bridge that you have to have, and bringing in the educational side, the training side. It's there for a reason, a side of things. And I think sometimes when people scream that's one of the problems that sometimes we have in a later side. But we'll get to that point later now.
Yeah. I understand. I know, man. It's when you finally merge the two, and you actually, I know what I'm doing. I know how to move. If you become fluid with it, because it becomes you. So then, therefore, you're more natural, because it's that's your natural state now.
Exactly.
So I know we talked about this. One of the favorite shows that we had was The Wire, and I know you said that some of the storylines on The Wire were actually some storylines that were taken from real life Baltimore accounts. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Very vaguely, I will. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hey. So I'm sorry, brother. I got a call came in. Me.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: when I first started, I started in 02. So The Wire, I think it came out in 01. I do remember them filming in Baltimore. Not a lot though, but I do remember them filming. I do remember a lot of overtime being available for it. I do remember that. But, I'll say I watched The Wire maybe 2 years after I left the department. So I didn't watch it any time before that. I knew about it, but I didn't really care about it. I was doing it.
Yeah.
But when I actually watched the show, I was like, wow, like it's scary how accurate some of this activity is. And some of those accounts, like let's say what's the guy name, the detective, the English guy. He was the main detective, Mahoney. No, that's another police.
That's Police Academy. Mahoney and Hooks and I forget what's his name.
But it was I forgot the guy's name. He was the main detective on the show. But there was an account of there's a couple of stories. I'm not gonna put it out there because I know exactly who this person is. So
okay.
There were some accounts that happened when they did some of the things on the show, and I was like, wow, I can't believe they actually put that in the show. Like that person's probably watching this, like, oh my god, because I remember this person getting into so much trouble for this incident. Now it might have happened multiple times, but I think anybody in law enforcement knows what I'm talking about. But the episode when the officer went too far.
Yeah.
There you go.
So then, working a few years in the law enforcement, and you got to work with you got the transition out of working into internal affairs. Then where you got the transition into where you're at today, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And so, what were some of your experiences in the later years of your career?
I think the growth that I was having as a law enforcement officer, because of all the things I was able to do from patrol. Baltimore is a special place, so you learn everything. Like 1 year in Baltimore, I'm assuming in some of the smaller municipalities is going to be a long. You experience everything, so which is unfortunate, but it's true. So the transitions I had was just growing as a person, growing as a law enforcement officer, doing different units. I love working in narcotics units and warrant apprehension task force, different types of street walking units. We had so many different acronyms. You know how it is in law enforcement. So
yeah.
Acronyms from HIDA to DSU. I mean, so many. So that's another thing I love. The experience is you get to do so many different things. You never get stagnant unless you want to be. If you want to be midnight shift, finding a hole 3 o'clock, you can. Or if you want to run and gun on as patrol or working in flex or drug units or anything, you can do that as well. So you can learn the jobs and become a better police officer. So you can be better for the community. So I learned the different aspects, and internal affairs, as you mentioned, brought me a clearer view of just being responsible for your actions, understanding the difference between somebody being overly policed and somebody doing their job. So I knew the difference coming from my community, working in it now in this community, understanding the community, and then policing the police that watch the community. Huge responsibility, because these are people's livelihoods on both sides, and when people make choices or mistakes that cause them to be dealt with an internal affairs guy. So it was definitely an amazing experience, man. It was a whirlwind of opportunities and experiences.
Yeah, I believe it, man. Just living the gambit of life. Like I had someone ask me yesterday, what kind of heroic things have you done while working, or what kind of stories can you tell while working? And when it's someone in the community, I'm like, I don't know what stories that, the stories that you find interesting, I don't find interesting. Like,
exactly.
And then when I explain like some of the stories that I find tragic or horrific, those, that's what we want to know about. I'm like, you're celebrating the stuff I don't want to remember.
Yeah, exactly. You're not lying about that. I always have people ask me questions about Baltimore all the time because all the different TV shows that came out. So there's a lot of curiosity about it. A lot of people who work in Baltimore don't really talk about it as much. I wouldn't, me. It took us so many years because I don't really like talking about it. The carnage that happens in, a lot of these smaller municipality cities, or urban cities like this. I'll say that. And so many beautiful people in Baltimore. It's sad when these kind of things happen in the community. So I don't even really talk about them. My favorite moment was helping a young girl who was sitting on the step with homework, or talking to helping a young boy become an NFL player. I ain't gonna talk about him, but helping him, watch him, and some of the things that happened while he was in that community, and what was happening to him, and people were trying to take advantage of him, and being able to be a blockade between some of the community individuals who weren't doing the right thing and that individual. So the helping part is my favorite part. Showing up to terrible crime scenes or terrible car accidents, I try to forget those things.
And it's interesting. I was like, when I was working, my favorite time was actually coaching football because I could correlate with the kids. I knew football. I had a young kid. It was fun. It took up the weekends. I got to teach some of the skills that I knew, and I got to bond with the kids for years. I did it for 7 years, so I got to watch the kids go from like 6-year-olds all the way up to like 12 and 13, and then they transition into the higher program, and then to watch them flourish, to actually do other sports or still continue on in football, or just give up football, but then they'd be like, you know what, football wasn't my thing, but now I'm in the DJing or I'm in the photography or something, and just watching their personalities bloom. And then I'm like, I know this kid from a kid, and I'm seeing them now, and they feel comfortable talking to me in uniform. They're coming up, dapping me up, giving me hugs. They was like, I'm not even Officer Tillman, I'm Coach Clee. Like, what's up, Coach Clee? How's it going? And that was a good and fun feeling. And when I convey that, they're like, oh, anybody can do that. I'm like, it's really not easy to do, but they want to hear about, hey, did you ever do this? Did you ever do that? I like, Did you ever run into a burning house? Yes, I did, and I was terrified. I'm like, I really don't want to get hurt doing this.
This is not Marvel. This ain't DC. Regular people. I'll tell you what. You brought up a great point about coaching. Like same thing. Shout out to the Reisterstown Mustangs. Right? So anybody who was on that team, we won the Maryland championship. That was one of my best experiences. Being a head coach for Reisterstown Mustangs 9-11, 7-9 and 9-11 teams. Okay. And we was the B squad, and we won the championship. So I'll tell you what, we lost one game that year. And we won all the way. But I think about that even today. I joke about it. I look up kids that I coach. I don't stalk them. I just look them up. Make sure they're doing okay. I just remember showing up to my time. I had to work. I had to go to court, and they all knew I was a police officer. But they ask me questions, and they ask me things, personal things sometimes, or they tell me personal things when I was coaching. But when they see me in my uniform, I remember how like proud they were to see me, and I didn't expect that. I was like, oh, okay, like they're happy to see me in my uniform. Hey, Coach O. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
So, yeah, favorite part of the connection between either the community. For sure.
Walking through the schools with the uniform on, and the teachers are like, "Oh man, we got the he's coming to get you guys today. You guys better behave." And the kids like, "Man, that's Coach Clee, man. He's cool." I'm like, the kids knew me before the teachers did. I'm like, "Oh, we're good."
Yeah, I miss those days. That was a lot of fun, man. I miss those days.
Yeah. So then transitioning out of law enforcement or the transition turning into an entrepreneur, did you correct me if I'm wrong? Were you able to you started a food truck first and then it kind of was that more like a hobby, or did you see the vision in that when you got the food truck?
A lot of people don't know the story. I think you might be one of the few people who actually asked the question. You've done a lot of interviews. You're one of the few people who asked the questions. Maybe James Crumble. You on it. But so the whole story basically is working as a detective one day. I was working in narcotics. I was sitting trying to get some grub, went to Chipotle. First time ever going there. I went to that restaurant and I was like, man, all these people in here. There's a lot of people in here for these burritos. They move fast, Yeah. It's a good business. So I always been an entrepreneur. I owned an exterminating company when I was 16.
Okay.
I and sold the company. So I've always been an entrepreneur. But I tell you, when I seen that line and those people, I was like, okay, let me do my numbers, count this up. Called her and I talked about it. I was like, this would be a good business. I was thinking restaurant. So, a couple months go by when I'm working. I'm not thinking about it. Saw some food trucks and I kind of bridged the idea together.
Yep.
We always, she's an entrepreneur also. So always been an entrepreneur. So she's always like, okay, so that's a good idea. Let's see if maybe it's a possibility.
Right.
A year went by, I never did anything with it. We went to an event in York. It was called Food Truck Fest. It was a food truck. It was a food truck there. I never forget it. I'm gonna give them a shout out because that day changed my life. It was called Baron von Schwein.
Okay.
The owners now own York Pretzel down in York, so it's a good people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saw their line, and it wasn't moving, bro. It was massive. I was like, yeah, that was it. It came in threes, bro. That was it. I seen the line. I said, I ain't standing in this line. This line, it's like gonna be 2-3 hours long. So I walked to the front of the line, and I'm up there and I'm talking to the guy in the back. Like, hopefully the guy will talk to me. I'm talking to him in the back. He can't talk to me. I was like, that's a good sign. I mean, he's rolling, he's rocking and rolling, and I just keep seeing 20s going into his drawer. I think it was a week later I bought a truck. And guess what? It sat for another like 3 months. I didn't do nothing with it. Sat for another 3 months. And then after a while, I was like, we gotta get on it. So start seeing more and more, doing more and more research. And the craziest day ever is when I went to my supervisor. I told him, I said, I'm leaving.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, this is risking everything.
Yeah. That's a big move. That's a big risk. But what's the phrase they say that the make big changes, you got to take big risks, that's a big risk in itself because it's not easy leaving a job or a career, I should say, where it kind of nurtures you, blesses you to get to full retirement after doing 20 to 25, some years, some places 30, depending where you're at. Once you do those years, you get the benefits of the pension and all that.
Yeah, that was other than outside of that, having a family, having kids and having a wife and insurance and all those different things. And my wife was a cosmetology teacher at the time, so we did have the option for benefits. But yeah, this is a big hit. I was making good money. So, and again, the idea of retirement, that's not even something I think about as a young person. I can work and then retire and collect income. If I can get to that point, that's a dream come true situation. So it became who I was too. I was Detective Linton. That's who I was. Yeah. I was Obi Linton, Detective Linton, and I embraced the idea, the whole trench coat Detective Linton thing. I told you I was on it. And my pink ties and my shirt, I was showing them the scenes. I was trying to look clean. I was watching Law and Order on my days off.
I remember when you telling me that I bought this jacket just for this.
Anybody in law enforcement who says they have not went and bought like trench coats or like magazine holders they don't need because of something on TV is lying. I bought a pea coat that I wore just for crime scenes, just so I can look cool. That's terrible.
It's terrible, but it's true. We've all done it. Trust me. I ain't putting my secrets out, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Just for that.
Yep. But then, so you had the courage enough to take the risk to actually start your food truck, and I've seen you at a couple events. Just in passing, or just at events going on, and we would talk, we'd chop it up. It'd be friendly conversation, and you'd be doing your thing, and I'm like, man, this guy really out here doing it, and he's taking the time to come out from the truck to have a conversation while there's a live band playing over here, and we got the waterfront over here, and he's doing this, or he's showing up. You're just showing up at events, and you're for lack of a better term, you're a regular person out here making it, having fun, and looking good while you're doing it.
Brother, thank you, and I appreciate that because when I started the food truck, I'm a regular dude. Like I'm just a regular guy, and I think a lot of times when we do events and we do even in our business now, people have questions about the business and they won't ask me. They'll be like, "Oh, we might not respond or something." I'm like, "Why not? If I got a question, I'm gonna ask." I text people I know I'm not probably supposed to be texting. I got the number though, so I'm texting them. So I'm a regular dude, and I feel like when I started the food truck, or when we started the food truck, my wife and I, it was such a smooth process. Even though the transition was hard, the process was smooth. So we just do our events. I talk to people. I'm personable, so I like to talk to people and conversate, and give them an experience. It wasn't just about the food; it was more of an experience. So I loved it. It was the best thing ever, as far as entrepreneurship, when it was the journey to do it.
Yeah. I early on for me, I was like, man, he's showing up everywhere. You see the food truck here, you see it there. I'm going to this event. Yeah, there's a jazz in the park or something, showing up food truck. Bam, there he is right there. I'm like, and like you say, you got the line too. So me and my girlfriend when we were there, we would go out. Yeah, we're standing in line. Yeah, we're getting something to eat. The food was delicious. And then I remember that transitioning into you got your restaurant, and that saved me and you have no idea how many times you saved me and my son on when me and my ex were going through a separation, and the days that I would get them, sometimes I'd have the home cooked meals, sometimes I have meal prep, but other times, I'm just picking them up, and it's right around dinner time, and we got to go. I'm like, where are we going? He said, I want to downtown.
He didn't even tell you where you want to go. What do you want?
And we would just show up. And not only that, this is when he was little. He's taller than me now, but when he was little, you were always cool to him. He was always cool. He'd come in, have a good experience, whatever, and you knew what he wanted. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah, for those who don't know, downtown is a buffalo chicken burrito we used to sell. Those who know. That was a lot of fun, man. Your son, man, watching him grow, that's another thing too. I was able to still connect with the community, by with doing it. Watching your son, I mean, literally watching him grow from a young man to a man to be in college is crazy. I know. And I'm just glad I had any impact in knowing him, because he's a great young man. You're a great dad, so you already know that. But
thank you.
The way he presents himself is a representation of you. So just talking to him as seeing him grow, it's like, wow, man, this young man he's gonna be special. So that was good. That's cool.
I appreciate it. And coming in there, and we get the burrito, or sometimes we get the mac and cheese, and we get a lot of different foods. Some we couldn't finish it all, take it home. He wake up, you want breakfast? Nah, I'm gonna finish this other half.
Oh man, that was good times, bro. Yeah. I missed again the communication, dealing with the community and dealing with people. So that was the good part of doing that for sure.
And that was in the you had your restaurant right in the heart of my jurisdiction. So therefore, not only that, I got to send fellow officers that I worked with or knew, or some just went on their own. And then when they were like, oh, clean, but it just created a nice work-life balance. They would come in as like, hey, if you guys are hungry, I mean, feel free. You guys go in there. It's good food and safe food. For cops, like the safe food.
Safe food.
Yep. You guys can go in there and get a good meal. And they're like, oh, this is banging. Coming back right before call, they have their takeout bowl to eating. Like, yo, you got the hallway. I
always say, like, I learned in Baltimore, if law enforcement's eating there, it's safe. Go. If you see a bunch of cop cars, go to that restaurant because it's safe. So that's what for us, being former law enforcement, I never hide the fact that I got a love for the law enforcement and the police officers, and the charity we do and all the different things we do, the give backs we do, always include that. So our law enforcement, I mean, our location was like a safe haven, not safe haven, but a relax haven. I would tell you guys, come in and do your reports in the front, just relax. You know, same thing I had in Baltimore. So I wanted to try to implement that idea. And I think anybody walks into a restaurant generally and see a law enforcement officer sitting there, it's a good thing. According to where you're at, I guess, right?
It's a bunch of different mindsets out there, so it goes hand in hand. So you were able to continue to grow your passion and foster your vision. The restaurant is now, you moved up in the world where you got the transition out of that, and now you got the Kobe foods and spices and things like that. You're still showing up events with these delicious spices. I still got guys coming that I work with. Like I saw them at an event. I got some spices. I put it on my steak. That was the best steak I ever had.
Yeah. Well, we transitioned from the food trucking aspect. I think it was COVID that actually kind of got it going. And I'll say that because obviously COVID was just the craziest experience of our life. Like we literally, all of us lived in a movie for a year and some change, 2 years. Yeah. We don't even realize that we were literally in a movie. And right before it really started to happen, we were already starting frozen burritos in the grocery stores, frozen burritos and rice. So that just took off. Like it was crazy how we were able to sell a lot of frozen burritos. People, even though we were open and we were really, really busy during the COVID time and we were a restaurant, we sold more in stores than we could have ever sold at your location. Wow. I think at the time we only had a few stores, like 10. It was nothing at all. But we were doing better in the store than we were doing at a location. We were doing good at our location. Okay. Like at one time. Sure. So after about a year of that, we were like, okay, we got to see if we can really push this frozen concept. But we didn't want to be stuck in a box of burritos business. So all the trucks, all that was incorporated with it at the time, which is it worked out really good financially. But So Burrito was gone. You know? Yeah. So what do we do now? I mean, I got the thing. Look at that. I got it tattooed on my arm, man. It's part of me forever. We transitioned into Nakobe Foods, and for those who don't know, Nakobe is a combination of Nicole, my wife, and Obi, me. And we wanted to put our name right on the package so we can create a generational wealth for our family. So our name is right on the package. So when our great get this business eventually in their family, they're like, that's our great grandparents business. You know, so that's the plan for sure.
I love the vision, man. I love it because it has 3 to 5 to 10 year to generational vision. You're thinking beyond the right now. A lot of people don't do that, or I believe that. I shouldn't say that. You're thinking beyond the right now. You're actually looking beyond yourselves and looking at grandkids and their grandkids and on, so that when family reunions happen, it's in the Kobe family reunion, you know. And they're like, yeah, our greats, they did this, went to here, and they didn't stop the grind, is basically what I'm trying to say. You guys are still grinding out. When a lot of people would say, why don't you sit back and relax? You guys have done enough. Why don't you just enjoy the good life?
Yeah, we get that a lot. After So Burrito, we were, in our minds, we were done. We were done with the food industry. We were going to go travel, write some books, enjoy our life. It didn't take 2 months. Scratching. Entrepreneurs. We entrepreneurs. Oh, Lord. You know, I got to get back into it. That's what happened. You know, we were just done with it. And we missed the community. We missed the ability to do something for the community. And it's not just about us. If we sold the business, it was done. All right, so we're like, okay, we're done with the business, we're done with everything, but it's not just about us. It wasn't just about me and Nicole, or just our daughter. It was about her daughter's daughters. You know, it was our connection to the community through Nakobe Cares, our foundation. So we lacked that. You know, there was no access to that. So we got back into it. I'm so glad we did, man. I feel new, brand new, feel younger. It's crazy.
I believe you seem rejuvenated too. I know when you get that bug and then you release it, it's kind of like you get that itch again. Like, I want to do something. I don't know what to do, but when you focus it, it's kind of like it's direct focus energy, and it's a good thing. You guys are doing a great thing.
So I appreciate that.
And I didn't touch on it before. I remember there were a couple times when you asked me, how can you directly impact the community by doing such and such favor, doing such and such thing, or just being a part of whatever it may be. And this is true, and it's humbling, and it's nice to see that somebody who's still out here working at some capacity is still want to be connected with the community, because community engagement is a big deal. It's fun, it's necessary, and it moves the needle forward no matter what position you're in, as either a first responder, law enforcement, or transition out of it as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Connections to the community bridge gaps. And there's a lot of them right now that exist, in all aspects of the community. So even us dealing with law enforcement, how we deal with law enforcement now, with connections to the community, our purpose through Nicole Care is to bring the law enforcement community with the community. So that's the goal. Everything is forward. Everything is looking forward. I mean, this thing behind me doesn't exist yet, but it will in 2026. I already got plans. It's happening.
I believe.
So the connection to the community, that needs to happen as well. I have as much care about that than I have my own personal, advantages and opportunities.
Yeah, when you were talking about that before we started recording, I'm like, yeah, he's got a vision and beyond. He's still growing. I love it. And with that, you talked about writing books and pursuing some of your passions. I like, man, not only this, he's working this, but then he's able to make his other dreams come true and becoming an author, getting his thoughts out there, getting his passions out there. And so therefore, I got my own copy. You guys make sure you get yours. The Power City Pigs. He's got his name on there, but no. And then I know you got Nicole Spices, the cookbook. I'm like, man, what don't you guys do?
Stop, give up, quit, not believe. That's what, brother. Like, I mean, I think the law enforcement book is a book I had to do. You know how it is. Like, I've seen so many different examples of things, from life-saving heroes to the worst type of law enforcement officer. So to be able to go to see all of the aspects from that to the end of that, the alpha and omega of law enforcement, basically. We call it brownies. Like when you're a rookie, you're a brownie. You wear these brown pants. Nobody cares about you. You're just a brownie. All the way to a guy that's retiring. You see different transitions of people, how they grow. So when I wrote my book, it was a fun book, but it was a serious book. I feel like I need to get some of the things out, the stories out, and just have fun writing it. Yeah. I didn't put names, but I did put some situations that I did do know about. And they're not all in Baltimore, I'll say that. I know a lot of people. So I've seen places in LA and Chicago. I know a whole bunch of different officers and had conversations with a lot of people. And I know that there's some stories out there that's wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild story. Because, we got law enforcement has a lot of power, and you can use that. And it's like, that's what they say, Spider-Man. It is a true statement. It is a great responsibility to do these things. I put the book. I wrote the book because it was a fun book, but at the same time, it's a real book. It's fiction, kind of. It's a fiction book, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, the names change some of the situations, so therefore, the actual situation in the book is fiction, but it's inspired by events.
Events of human nature, absolutely.
So congratulations on that. I don't know if I officially got to say it. Congratulations. What I'm upset about is that when we got to go hook up and go out to eat, I didn't bring him. I like, man, I could have had him sign my books for me. I forgot all about it.
But the good thing is I have signed ones for you. I actually do remember I should have signed the book. I didn't do it.
Well, I mean, that goes to say that hopefully that wasn't the last time that we see each other. So I'm all right with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say there is a Pirate City Pigs 2 coming.
Okay.
I'm working on that. The Land of Blood series that you held up. It's basically I'm into fantasy books, and so it's 100% created in my head. Basically, I just wanted to create a world building, and I just had fun writing it. I didn't even know what it was going to be about until I was like transitioning. I asked Nicole, hey, should I have this person kill this person, or should I have this person save this person? She's like, flip a coin, let's figure it out. So that's the fun part of just creating the worlds. You don't have a ceiling to what you can do. That's why I love it, just to be able to create. That's the same thing with law enforcement. There's no ceiling.
Yeah. Hey man, you're inspiring, and you're, believe it or not, you're mentoring me, because I know I started podcasting because I wanted to write a book. It's weird. but originally it was when I was doing the lab, before I was doing actual Black and Blue, when I was interviewing people with businesses, products, and positive messages. I just wanted to kind of get used to speaking, meeting people, but I was like, I just want to become an author. And one of my books is back here. My first, it's terrible now when I look at it.
I don't believe that. I think it's always like that, right? When you look at old stuff. But I love the first book that you put out. I thought it was good. I still think it's relevant.
Thank you.
It's upgrades in software. That's what makes it look better. It's good to me.
Thank you. And I remember accomplishing that, and it felt good, but it wasn't satisfying. It wasn't like, once I do this, I'm gonna be satisfied and like, oh, like I did it. Oh, I can sit back. It just made me wanna. What else can I do? I want to do this, and so it continues on to the point where it's not that I'm not satisfied. It's that once you start working dreams and visions, it expands your mind, where your dreams and visions get bigger and expand, and you can like, I'm going for that. I want to go for that. And you keep climbing the ladder, just like you got the building and the food trucks back there for Nicole Foods. When we were talking, I like, yeah, this dude, he got no quit. He still sees the vision, and it expands. The more he works, the bigger it gets. I love it.
I think it's like capabilities. What are you capable of actually doing? So once you accomplish something, for us, like once we accomplish a goal, let's say our first store, we got in the Carnes. There's a local store here. They have 10 stores, a family-owned company. I know them through catering for the owners, like catering food trucks stuff through the owners. So using those connections, you know, it wasn't easy. Just because I catered for them don't mean they got to do anything for me. Yep. You know, I had to talk to them. And one of the owners, the daughter, Andrea, she schooled us on like business. She's like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be doing with your life in 10 years? Like, do you want to be running and gunning? Without saying it, this is what she said. You want to be running and gunning on those trucks? I mean, we have multiple food trucks. You want to have something for the long term. And this is her words. And I was like, wow. And Nicole and I looked at each other, was like, she just schooled us on something. So we went hard with Nicole Foods. And that was our first store we got. And it was the greatest experience to be able to just go to the store like, oh man, is that our product, our name sitting on the shelf? It's crazy. It's still crazy to this day, no matter how many stores we have.
It's a big deal. Congratulations, man. I know it's overwhelming and surreal. Can you talk about or tell us how many stores you guys are actually in right now?
I'll be honest, I don't know the exact amount right at this very moment. We actually add stores all the time through distribution. We're in thousands of stores at this point. The guesstimated number is about 3,000 by the end of the year. And that's just based on what things we already have in kind of works that are working. This isn't like based on what could possibly happen. Other things could possibly happen, or less could possibly happen. You never know. So we're geared to have another couple of thousand. So we're looking at a little over 1,000 now, from what I believe.
Gotcha. And it all starting from a food truck business that kind of the idea, the implementation of it was, man, Chipotle, man, look at that. Then all of a sudden, all right, the food truck. All right, let me get a truck. And then kind of putting the pieces together like a puzzle, sitting on it. And then finally, pulling the trigger, we're doing it. And then it's grown from there. It's like the overnight success story that took multiple years.
Yeah, it is. And I think a lot of people don't know that too. We've been doing this for a while, 2008. It's been a long time. We've been solely responsible for our income since 2008. That's a huge responsibility.
That's a big deal.
If I don't work, I don't eat. I like to eat, so I got to work. So, but it is clear, like it's in my mind. Like when I went to the academy in the police department, I knew I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to elevate. I knew I wanted to have responsibilities. I knew I wanted to be reliable. I wanted people to be able to count on me. I wanted to change somebody's life in the community. I wanted to do all these different things. So visually, I knew where I was going to be, from first year to the fifth year in law enforcement, based on what I believe I could do. Same thing in retail or in entrepreneurship. I literally see the building behind me. I know where it's going to be. I got a vision. Wow.
Okay.
I visualize and I understand what I want. And the only thing that restricts you sometimes is yourself. You saying you can't do something, or you believe in you not capable. Some of the things we did this year was the most amazing things. I know we're going to talk about that ever. And I truly believe we can do the things that we want to do. Nicole believes we can do the things we want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's just about planning, organizing, and being respectfully relentless in what we're doing.
I believe in you guys. I know that. And like I said, it's an inspiration because every day ain't easy. I know that.
It is not.
To keep moving the dream forward. So there we go. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to watching you guys flourish. Looking forward to the everything that comes with it. When you win, I'm like, look at them going, man. We got to keep going. It's moving the needle forward in a good way. And you have no idea who you're touching. Like, I'm telling you that you've inspired me, and I'm just imagining the other people who aren't saying it.
I appreciate that, bro. I'm going to say to you too, man, watching your podcast grow, you're one of the few people who are actually doing it like this when it comes to the black and the blue. And as you mentioned on the tag there, humanizing the badge, like there needs to be some type of connection. There's a lot of us out there, so to speak, people that are in different different paths now, who had a love for the law enforcement that can talk about the stories and things. And some people don't even know those people who are in community. And some people are going to watch this like, I didn't know you were a police officer in Baltimore. So there it is. Just a regular guy.
Love it. Hey, and this is years coming. I know it takes a while to schedules to align, situations going on, and not everyone feels comfortable or even wants to come on to and speak about law enforcement, especially in the kind of society that we have going on today, where we're not really favored. I know life is cyclic, and so is the career, where sometimes we're up at the very top, and other times normally we rest around the middle, where people are like, oh, okay, it's nice that you're a cop, but I don't, unless I need you, it's not really necessary. And then other times we're at the very pit or at the very bottom, where it seems like all society, they hate us, they want to disband us and all this other stuff. But then in my mind, I'm like, we got to get the story out there, because if not us, then who?
Yeah.
Then what do you got? What do you got? If it disbands, then you've got total anarchy and chaos, and that's just going to be miserable for everybody.
Yeah, well, society has to continue. All we have to do is connect with the community, law enforcement, and the community connect, and bridge some humanity in some of those, like even places like Baltimore. It's a hard job, think about every person you meet every day is having a terrible day. Like almost everybody you meet every day as a law enforcement officer, this is probably one of the worst days of their life. Yeah. And here you are. Hey, how you doing? I'm Officer Jones, and this person is sitting there, bleeding out, trying to figure out what's going on. They're having a horrible day, So, and it's a thankless job. And we, as law enforcement officers, I think we all understood that. But there has to be a desire and a need for the law enforcement officer to want to do more. Just be there for the community. Understand the purpose behind that badge. America is the greatest country in the world by far. And to be able, so people are going to not like that comment. I really don't care about that. America is the greatest country. I'm not going nowhere else. I've been there. I've been everywhere else. This is wonderful. I love it. We'll deal with each other the way we have to deal with each other. But connection and bridging each other, bridging the gaps that we have with the community and law enforcement, it's going to be very important. I do my little small part. You're doing a huge part being on law enforcement, doing the podcast. Why not? Got to start somewhere, right? And you know what? I hold those accountable too. Law enforcement officers that are not doing the right thing, I'm the first person to talk about it, because I know I understand the rules and regulations and things of those nature, and I understand when somebody might be acting out of anger and afraid. Somebody acting who was afraid rather than being angry. So there's a difference, Scenarios. Every scenario is different. I don't look at it as just, it's great. It's black and white. It's great.
All knowledge out there and bringing reality.
Have you had people that worked in IID before or internal affairs before come on your show?
One guy, he's retired LAPD. I think he worked. I'm probably going to butcher it. He worked for a college campus when he was on here. I think he's retired from there as well. But he's got stories for days where he worked IA for the majority part of his career. I'm sorry, where he would defend law enforcement chiefs on their decision, and he would also defend officers who were done unjustly. And he said he's got experiences on both ends where some officers that dude got to go. And then there was other times when the department was wrong. He backed the officers like, no, the officer did exactly what he was supposed to do in that moment. You got to fully back him. If you don't back him, then here comes the thunder.
Yeah, I tell you, and examples like that, they're important to put out there because as a when you're in law enforcement as a RID detective, you're literally policing police. You're holding people responsible for their actions, whether it be in the community, at home, or wherever you are. And law enforcement it's such a weird job. When you really think about it, it's such a weird job because we're domestically policing our own people. And it's crazy, the idea that in America how we police, the idea of it, but it's necessary and it's needed because the civility needs to happen. We need to have a civil communities, so it has to happen, So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you getting on the show, man. And I don't want to monopolize your time too much because I know you're going to start working on your dreams and visions and goals. And then maybe one day when he gets that building, I can podcast from inside the building doing a live tour. I'm going to have the handheld camera saying, yeah, look at what's going on. It finally happened. It's right here. We're in the Kobe Foods, and this is what it looks like.
All right, remember, 10:57 a.m. What day it is? Just remember this day. We had this conversation. That's what happened.
January 4th, 2025. Well, at least that's the day when this is recorded.
That's when it's recorded. All right.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on here. But before we go, is there anything that you would like to cover? Is there any pearls of wisdom that you would like to share or get out there? Anything that you want to put out there to the community right now? The floor is yours.
I tell you what, I guess I would say a little more love in 2024. Our brand is Nakobe Foods, flavored by love, and just need a little more love in 2025, not 2024. See that? Gotta move ahead. So 2025, let's show a little more love in everything we do. That's where I'm at, bro.
I appreciate that. Hey, great way to finish the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're wrapping up here. Make sure you see the website scrolling below. I'm gonna make sure it's in the description box and the name field. Make sure you guys check him out. He's doing a lot of good things for the community, a lot of good things for the people. Good food out there. It's good reads. He's touching on all gambits. A good friend of mine. We got to talk many times in passing on different events or just chopping it up at events or in social clubs and things like that. But then when we really got to sat down a few weeks ago and we had lunch, we had like a 4-hour long lunch. And I know it was needed and necessary for me. I think I'm safe to say it was good for him as well because we just talked and we just got to unload and talk and get deep. A lot of things that we're not going to talk about on here, but it was just a necessary conversation to have and to be able to I can understand that. I can relate to that. I can empathize and sympathize and understand. It's a good feeling to be able to have a real conversation with someone who's actually done things in life. And
I haven't actually been able to vent like that since 2000, like really for somebody that understands. I give you information, you give it back, and it's a relatable thing. I haven't been able to do that since I left. Wow. That was the first time I actually talked about some of the things in law enforcement. Some of I would consider the PTSD type stuff that I deal with today. Based on some of the things I've seen and done. So yeah, it was good to talk. It was good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, trust me, I know. I think that was the first real conversation I had too. So we had that bonding session over some brisket and barbecue. Yeah, man. But thank you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and shut us down now. Make sure you guys tag, like, share, and subscribe. And we're gonna keep moving the needle forward in 2025 with Black and Blue. The podcast is just for you. Thank you, guys.
We all love range day, right? We know we do. Until the instructor's the SWAT instructor, and we know we're not going to beat his score. Here we go, team. Welcome to the Claymore Shooting Academy. Today, we're going to learn the art of precision shooting.
Oh, my head.
Look at that all-center mass. Now I can go back to the office.
All right, let's get serious. It's time to qualify. I'm ready, Clay. Let's hit those targets. And fire! Good job, everyone. All center mass shots. Ceasefire! You all did really good and qualified, but let me tell you something. With all my training and expertise, let me show you how it's really done. Woohoo! That's right, the pros on the range. You can't stop me. Yep, bullseye, bullseye. Center mass, baby. That's how we get it done. Nice shooting, Claymore, but we did all expect you to clay the competition. And that's your skit of the day to get you on your way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm sorry about the longer intro. I had to wait for the video to upload. The first video wouldn't have been satisfactory. It had been an echo and a delay, and I wasn't going to do that, especially for an interview that I've been waiting on for so long. It was a good interview, great conversation. I do apologize, Obi, because the app kept highlighting me, and it didn't focus back and forth like it was supposed to, so I apologize on that, but the information is still good. The conversation is invaluable. Thank you for that, and enjoy what you got going on right now. I got to remember I'm live and I'm being recorded, so I try not to put too much active information out there in that moment. But I thank you all for tuning in. This is Black and Blue. The podcast is just for you, where we go live weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, where we highlight first responder, law enforcement officer, whether they're rookie season or retiree, and we talk about their trainings, experiences, and their publications. We didn't fall short today. We had a recorded interview with Obi Linton. The website scrolling below. Make sure you guys check him out. The food is delicious. The experience is phenomenal. This podcast is wonderful. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys tag, like, share, and subscribe, and take care of each other. 10-4. Over and out.
I'm not a bad cop.
I never once said you were. It would be real simple if the problem was bad cops. It ain't.